Let's go ahead and drop it in 3, 2, 1. Kind of the usual hype. No crack there. Sounded a bit brutal though.
In 2007, the iPhone was formally released, and a lot of us were probably eagerly waiting to see what all the fuss was about. And eventually, many of us pledged our gadget-related loyalty entirely to Apple. It would not be surprising if a huge bunch of you are actually watching this video out of your iPhones right now. And it is amazing how Apple hasn't failed their customers ever. New features are launched at perfect intervals, and the convenience factor that Apple products have is honestly just unmatched. Well, to be fair, it's not like we expect any less from the leading innovators in the world, but you must also have realized that Apple isn't a tech giant purely on the basis of its ability to please their customer base, right? In fact, the iPhone has recently served a severe blow to all of its competitors by coming up with the most wonderful and unprecedented thing to ever exist in the mobile phone tech industry. Now, it sounds like an exaggeration, but keep watching till the end to find out the master move that Apple pulled to put themselves leagues ahead of any of their competitors. The next up is the iPhone 14. You might already have a set of expectations, but seriously, hold your horses. This might just be beyond what you could possibly have thought up. The thing is, a number of leaks have already happened. That means that while nothing has been officially confirmed yet, we might have a fair idea about what to hope for. Obviously, the novelty factor is necessary for a new drop, but it never hurts to speculate, does it? That's exactly what is happening right now. Tech-related content creators can't stop talking about what is about to come, even though Apple yet is not addressing any of this discourse. Some of these speculations range from reliable to ridiculous, while some are positively bordering on the absurd. However, the one that seems to be a very reasonable possibility is that Apple is apparently gearing up to do away with the need for a physical SIM card entirely. Yep, you heard that right. While Android users can't even begin to fathom that SIM cards might just be dispensable, iPhone users have previously been faced with enough exciting and unbelievable possibilities relating to their phones already to find it too hard to believe this. But why does this put the iPhone ahead of its competitors in the market? And what does it mean for the design of the iPhone itself? Keep watching to find out. Talks about removing the SIM card slot from the iPhone completely were already doing the rounds actually. It was supposed to happen in 2023, but more recent news indicates that it might not even be as far down the path as that. The iPhone 14 is set to enter markets in 2022, and rumor has it that this model itself will come with this insane design update. Now, if phones drop the need for a physical SIM card, can you imagine how that will revolutionize mobile systems in general? Now, iPhones will be entirely independent of external hardware because their SIM service will be coming from eSIMs. When the Brazilian site Blog do iPhone first dropped a hint about this, they actually talked about the 2023 release. Eventually, a bunch of other sources and speculation surfaced, and currently it is almost beyond any doubt that this change will show up in the iPhone design of the iPhone 14 itself, which isn't very far away. This means that eSIMs will need to be developed and distributed enough to cover their demand once the iPhone 14 drops. In fact, Apple has reportedly already been in talks with the major US carriers to ensure that full-fledged preparation for the introduction of eSIM-only smartphones into the market. There aren't enough carriers yet that actually produce eSIMs in bulk. That's largely because the demand for eSIMs just wasn't there. But on the flip side, isn't it obvious that Apple took all of this into consideration already? If you ask me, if there's any tech conglomerate that can actually influence the economy enough to create a demand for a hitherto completely dispensable commodity, it's Apple. Frankly, isn't it amazing how small changes in the design on a smartphone can set the ball rolling in the nature of the demand and supply of tech economy? If you're just as awestruck as this is me, don't forget to leave us a like. Anyway, removing the SIM card tray will mean that a bunch of changes are about to happen. So why do you think Apple is adopting this change at all in the first place? Well, the answer would be a little elaborate. On one hand, if there's no need for a SIM card, that kind of eliminates the necessity for any external components within the iPhone. The SIM card was, after all, external hardware. This tiny change in the design ensures that Apple now has complete autonomy over their star product, and that they can now engage very specific eSIM producers in the iPhone industry. Apart from that, there is a slight whiff of Apple adding more internal hardware now that the SIM card tray is out of the picture. I mean, think about it. Removing the SIM card slot does free up some space with the design of the iPhone, and no matter how insignificant it seems in terms of spatial measurements, it actually is a huge difference in the eyes of an innovative tech genius like Apple. Of course, this also means that the iPhone can now look prettier. It's not that we already weren't obsessed with our iPhones, but improving on the aesthetics is a constant process for any tech developer. I mean, who doesn't want a sleeker design? Finally, this might also just reduce the production cost of the iPhone. Not having to produce internal parts fitted to a very specific sizing of an iPhone can mean that Apple is making a financially smart move to save up on the big bucks. And yes, a change this slight in size can actually make a difference that big. Apple has been working at streamlining the SIM situation for ages. Before this, iPhones introduced the Nano SIM, but that actually wasn't as popular as they expected it would be. You definitely know if you used an iPhone with a Nano SIM, as it was actually a bit too small, and for someone like me, it was also very easy to lose. Are you also someone like me who loses track of fragile and small things? So leave a like in that case. Anyway, none of this matters now because once the eSIM makes an appearance, you won't actually have to keep track of your SIM card's existence at all. It will become more like software instead of hardware. Honestly, this is such an awesome move that I can spidey sense the competitors scrambling for a gateway into this tech now. Okay, jokes apart, Apple's competitors will be really put at a disadvantage in the fabric of the entire SIM market changes. Of all the changes that Apple has ever made in their iPhone designs, this might just be the one that put the greatest distance between them, and their closest competitors. Are you excited to see how exactly this change manifests itself in the iPhone 14? Then don't forget to comment and let us know. Also, don't miss out on liking and sharing this video with your friends and family, especially if they too have been using the iPhone for a really long time. That was all the time that we have for today, but I really hope to see you in our next video very soon.